Started with something so small, I almost missed it. We were getting ready to head out to dinner. Nothing fancy, just our usual Friday night spot around the corner. Lauren had just come back from what she called a hellish week at work and was upstairs fixing her hair. I was downstairs, trying to untangle the mess of charging cables near the kitchen counter. That's when I saw her smartwatch sitting face down on the table. I didn't think anything of it. We've never really been the type to snoop on each other. At least, I wasn't. But when I picked it up to plug it in, the screen lit up. A fresh notification popped up right at the top. Seaside Loft Hotel. Your romance package charge has been processed. We hope you enjoyed your stay. Romance package. Those two words felt like a rock in my throat. My mind blanked for a second. I just stared at it. You know how you sometimes read something so jarring that your brain takes a second to catch up to the reality of what you're seeing? That was me, standing in the kitchen, holding her watch like it was a bomb that had just started ticking. Seaside Loft Hotel. That name rang a bell. Then it hit me. It's that boutique place on the cliffs, overlooking the ocean. The one with the Instagram ads full of candles, bathtubs with rose petals, and couples clinking champagne glasses while watching the sunset. We joked about it once, said it was overpriced. Too Hallmark Channel. And now here it was, on her watch, charged to her card. A romance package. The timestamp on the notification stopped me cold. Thursday, 8:43 p.m. The same night she told me she was stuck late at the office prepping for a quarterly review. She'd come home close to midnight, hair damp from a shower, makeup washed off, wearing an oversized hoodie like she'd just gotten back from a stressful day. But apparently she hadn't been at the office. For a few minutes I didn't move. I just stood there, watch in hand, heart racing. You don't want to jump to conclusions. Not when you've built a life with someone. Not when you've promised them and yourself that you'd always trust until given a reason not to. But this didn't sit right. Still, I tried to rationalize. Maybe it was a billing error. Maybe someone else in her office had booked it. Maybe she picked it up for a coworker as a favor. But the word romance kept flashing in my mind like a neon sign. I put the watch down. I wasn't planning to snoop. Not really. But when she asked me earlier that week to grab her notebook from her work bag, I'd seen something tucked deep inside. A little boutique box. Back then, I didn't think anything of it. Maybe a gift from a client or one of those random PR packages her office gets. But now, I needed to know. I went upstairs. The bag was right where she left it, leaning against the corner of her vanity. I didn't dig through it. I didn't need to. Right on top, like it was waiting for me, sat the same small box. It was a delicate velvet case, black with gold edges. I opened it, and inside was a thin silver bracelet. Elegant, understated, expensive. Hanging from the clasp was a charm engraved with an ocean wave and a tiny, intricate S. The Seaside Loft's logo. A keepsake. The kind you buy in the gift shop on the way out. I felt something twist in my stomach. Tucked beneath the bracelet was a folded parking stub. Oceanfront Lot B. Thursday night. Arrival time. 7:12 p.m. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring down at it all like I was piecing together evidence in someone else's life. Her life. Our life. Whatever it was turning into. I didn't hear her come up the stairs until she called out from the bathroom. Hey babe, you seen my charger? I quickly folded the parking stub and slipped it back where I found it. I shut the bracelet case and dropped it back into the bag like it burned me. Yeah. I called back, voice tight. It was downstairs. Plugged it in for you. Thanks, she said, cheerful. I swear these things die faster than they charge. She walked into the room a moment later, wrapped in a towel, her hair damp, cheeks flushed. She kissed me on the forehead and started rummaging through her drawer for lotion like nothing was wrong. I swallowed. How was work Thursday? She paused, just for a second, but I saw it. That late night? She said casually, keeping her back to me. Brutal. We had to stay to prep some numbers for Carter's team. Didn't even get home until 11. I didn't say anything. I just watched her. The way she kept moving, not looking at me. Why? she asked suddenly, glancing over her shoulder. Did something come up? I didn't know how to say it, how to confront her without sounding paranoid. I saw something pop up on your watch, I said. Seaside Loft Hotel. Some romance package? Her eyes went wide just for a split second. Then came the laugh. Sharp. Dismissive. Oh my God, she said, turning around. A towel still wrapped around her like armor. That thing? Is a running joke at the office. You know Daniel? From marketing. He's been screwing around with the company card for ages. Booked that as a prank for Rachel's birthday. Group charge. We didn't even stay. Just went to see the room and laugh about it. Total waste of money. I didn't say a word. She walked closer. Towel now replaced by a silk blouse I hadn't seen before. New perfume, too. Spicy. Expensive. Seriously? She said, running a hand through her hair. I can't believe it showed up on my watch. That's hilarious. She leaned down, kissed my forehead again. Don't be jealous, she teased. You're cuter when you're not suspicious. Then she glanced at her phone. Crap. I'm gonna be late, she said, grabbing her keys. Team dinner tonight. I'll be back late. Don't wait up. And just like that, she was out the door. The silence left behind was deafening. I sat there, heart pounding, staring at the bag she left behind. The bracelet inside. The parking stub. The half-truth she fed me like it was nothing. And for the first time in our marriage, I felt something shift. Something I didn't know how to name yet. But it felt a lot like the beginning of the end. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. After that night, the hotel charge and the too slick explanation, everything started looking different. Or maybe it had always been like this and I just refused to see it. Either way, I started noticing things. Not just little things. Pattern. A string of moments that didn't add up until they did. And once I pulled the thread, the whole thing began to unravel. Started with her phone. She used to be careless with it. Left it everywhere. Kitchen counter. Bathroom sink. Half the time I'd be the one to plug it in for her when she forgot. But now, it was always face down. Always locked. Always within arm's reach. And the passcode had changed. Not that I ever checked it before, but I noticed one day when she opened it at an angle and the sequence was different. 6 digits now instead of 4. I asked her about it once, casually. She shrugged and said IT made them change for work compliance. Sounded reasonable. But like everything else lately, the logic was just a little too neat. Then there was the shower thing. She used to flop on the couch when she got home. Kick off her heels, pour wine. Tell me about her day. Now she headed straight for the shower. Every time. No hi, babe. No small talk. Just a mumbled long day and the click of the bathroom door. And when she came out, the makeup was gone. The scent of her new perfume lingered instead. Strong and spicy. Nothing like the floral stuff she wore for years. I asked her about it once. She said she got it as a gift during a client visit. She didn't say from who. That alone might not have meant anything. But everything was changing at once. And not just with her routine, her style shifted, too. New lingerie. Lace. Dark. Risque stuff that didn't match anything she owned before. Not even hidden away in drawers, but thrown casually into the laundry basket. As if I wasn't supposed to notice, or maybe as if she didn't care if I did. And her clothes. The blouses she wore to work weren't just new. They were bold. Deep cuts, silk fabrics. She used to go for simple and classic. Now it was high-end fashion. Statement pieces. She told me she got a raise. But I knew what her job paid. And she never once mentioned a promotion. Then there was the cash. Lauren and I always used our cards. We shared a joint checking account, and she had a credit card for work expenses. But over the last month, I noticed she started withdrawing cash. Hundreds at a time. Not every day, not enough to set off alarms, but enough to raise questions. ATM slips tucked into her purse, tips missing from her wallet. I asked her about it. She said she was just tired of trackable spending and wanted to be more off-grid. Off-grid? Who even says that? The final straw, the thing that really locked it all together, was her mileage. I wasn't trying to track her or anything. but we share a car sometimes, and I use the app that connects to her vehicle's diagnostics. One morning I got a maintenance alert. When I logged in to check the details, I noticed her odometer was up. By a lot. She claimed she was just driving out to satellite offices for meetings. But then I saw an Uber receipt in her email. She must have forgotten to delete it. Ride from downtown to a coastal address. Same destination, different nights. She'd gone there multiple times. Late evening rides. Back and forth. One of them matched a night she said she was at a networking mixer. Another aligned with a weekend she claimed she had headaches and needed rest. That was another thing, her health. Suddenly, she had a headache every weekend. Friday through Sunday, like clockwork. She'd skip plans with mutual friends, cancel dinner reservations, say she just needed to recharge. At first, I believed her, took care of her, made tea, let her sleep in. But over time, it started to feel like she was faking symptoms. Just enough to bow out of anything that involved us. She always seemed to have energy for wine nights with her team, but not a night in with me. And food, that changed too. Lauren used to hate steak, said it felt barbaric and wouldn't touch red meat. Wine gave her migraines. That's what she told me. So we drank cider, ate fish, pasta. But one day I found a receipt tucked in her coat pocket. 2 glasses of Cabernet, medium rare ribeye, a coastal bistro that neither of us had ever been to together. When I asked if she wanted to try it sometime, she brushed it off and said it had mediocre reviews. That's when it hit me. She'd already been there, but not with me. It wasn't just physical distance anymore. It was something deeper, emotional. Her laugh changed. Her silence stretched longer. We weren't just living separate schedules, we were living separate lives. When she spoke to me, it felt rehearsed. Answers came too quick. Conversations were short, hollow. She no longer told me about her day. She told me what she thought I needed to hear. At night, she started falling asleep with her back to me. No more reaching for my hand under the covers. No, good night, love you. Sometimes she'd pretend to be asleep before I even made it upstairs. It's a strange thing to sleep next to someone who feels like a stranger. But even stranger, pretending it's normal. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting. Maybe it was stress. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe I was paranoid because of that hotel charge. Maybe one thing had soured my lens. But then I thought back. All of it. The new clothes, the locked phone, the changed routines, the wine and steak, the lies, the team meetings. It had started before the hotel. The signs had always been there. I just hadn't connected the dots. Or maybe I'd refused to. Because once you admit the possibility, you can't go back. Once the suspicion takes root, it grows like mold. Quietly, in the corners, until it reaches everything. And the worst part? I didn't have proof. Just a gut feeling. But that feeling was growing louder. And I couldn't shake the thought that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't the only man in Lauren's life anymore. There's a point where your mind stops guessing and starts needing answers. That's where I was. I didn't want to live in the gray anymore. All the dots were connecting, sure, but I needed one undeniable fact to tip the scale. Something that couldn't be explained away with a laugh, a fast excuse, or one of Lauren's deflections. So I did something I never imagined myself doing. I called my cousin Jay. Jay works in private security. Not the bodyguard kind, they mostly do corporate surveillance, insurance fraud, digital forensics. He's not a guy who asks questions, which is exactly what I needed. We met at a bar we used to hang out at in college, neutral ground, off the radar. I laid it out as best I could. The hotel charge, the bracelet, the cash withdrawals, the wine, the steak, the sudden headaches. I told him I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I just needed to know the truth. For my own sanity. For closure. He didn't say much. Just nodded slowly and asked one question. When's her next business trip? I told him Lauren had mentioned a work dinner in San Diego the following Thursday. Some executive mixer or regional client touchpoint. Whatever that meant. She made it sound very buttoned up, very official. Said she wouldn't be home till late. Maybe even overnight if the dinner ran long. Jay leaned back, sipped his soda, and gave me a look I'll never forget. That mix of sympathy and certainty. Like he already knew what he'd find. "Text me the address she gives you," he said. "I'll handle the rest." The days leading up to Thursday crawled by like a slow leak. I couldn't focus at work. Couldn't sleep. I couldn't talk to Lauren without hearing my own voice echo back like I was in a tunnel. Every little interaction felt staged. Her kisses were lighter. Her hugs quicker. She had started humming around the house again. Something she used to do when she was happy. But this version of her happiness didn't feel like it had anything to do with me. By the time Thursday came, I felt physically ill. She left around 5 p.m. Dressed in a dark navy dress I hadn't seen before. Not overly S*XY, but polished. Subtle. Her hair was curled. Her nails were done. She wore heels I didn't recognize. As she walked past me toward the door, she sprayed that same sharp perfume. Like cloves and citrus and something else I couldn't place. "Wish me luck," she said with a smile that didn't touch her eyes. "Good luck," I replied, voice dry. She kissed my cheek, and I flinched without meaning to. She paused, looked at me. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said too fast. "Just tired. Long day." She nodded and left. I waited an hour before texting Jay. "She's gone." He responded almost instantly. "Already on it." Then nothing. No updates. No texts. No "you were right" or "you were wrong." Just silence. And that silence felt heavier with every passing minute. I sat on the couch staring at the front door like it might open and everything would reset. Like she'd walk in and laugh and tell me the dinner was canceled, and we'd order pizza like we used to, and the knot in my chest would finally unravel. But that door didn't open. Not for a long time. It was past 11 p.m. when my phone finally lit up. "Jay, check your email. Password is your middle name." I opened it. There were 3 files attached. IMG_202311012_0017 JPG. IMG_202311012_0022 JPG. Vid_202311012_0014 MOV. I didn't open them right away. My hand hovered over the screen like it was a detonator. Eventually, I tapped the first photo. Lauren, standing outside a cottage. Coastal. Blue door. Lanterns strung above a narrow wooden porch. The timestamp said 6:37 p.m. Next to her, a man. Older. Gray at the temples. Broad shoulders. Dressed in casual clothes, not a suit. He was holding her tote bag. His hand rested lightly on her lower back. Her body leaned toward him. The second photo, closer. Same moment, different angle. This time they were kissing. Nothing overly graphic. But int** mate. Familiar. Like it wasn't the first time. My heart didn't break. It caved. Collapsed inward. Quietly. The video was short, 9 seconds. Jay must have recorded from a distance. Lauren walking hand in hand with this man toward the front office of the property. She signed something at the reception desk. Zoomed in, I saw the signature. Not her name. Not even her initials. Just a fake one, neat and quick. And the final detail? Her car. Parked in the lot marked, "Guests only overnight." She hadn't even bothered to Uber this time. I sat in the dark, phone resting against my knee, hands trembling. There it was. No more wondering. No more guessing. No more rationalizing her mood swings or justifying her new habits. This was it. Proof. Unshakable. Undeniable. Irreversible. It wasn't just that she cheated. It was the effort she put into the lie. The alternate version of herself she'd been building behind my back. A new wardrobe. A new appetite. A different name. She didn't just step out of the marriage. She checked into another life. And I'd been sleeping beside a ghost. What do you even do with something like that? I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't punch the wall or throw my phone. I just sat there, letting the cold truth settle into my bones. I thought I'd feel rage, fire, something dramatic. Instead, I felt empty. Not like something had been stolen, but like something had died, and I'd been the last to know. I texted Jay back, "Thank you." He responded, "You okay?" I typed out 3 words. "No, but I will." And that was the first honest thing I'd said in weeks. I didn't confront her. I thought I would. For weeks, I'd pictured every possible version of that scene. Slamming the photos on the kitchen table, shouting, demanding answers, watching the mask peel off her face. I imagined myself asking how long it had been going on, if she ever loved me, if she even knew who she was anymore. But when the moment came, I chose something else. Silence. There's a strange dignity in walking away without asking for anything. No apology, no explanation, not even closure. Just the clean break of finality. A full stop where someone else expects a question mark. That night, I barely slept. I lay in bed with my back to her, eyes open in the dark, the space between us feeling like a canyon. She curled away like usual. No good night, no touch, just silence. By sunrise, I was up. I moved quietly, deliberately. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want a scene. I just wanted to get out before I started convincing myself to stay. I packed lightly, just the essentials. A week's worth of clothes, toiletries, my laptop, a folder of documents, and a copy of the photos Jay had sent. I slipped my wedding ring off and set it on the bathroom counter. It left behind a pale mark on my finger, like a faded bruise. I folded a single page of paper and placed it on the kitchen table. Nothing dramatic, no scorched earth, just the truth. "Lauren, you don't owe me an explanation. You've already given me all the clarity I need. I'm not angry, I'm just done. You threw a party I was never invited to. I won't stay behind cleaning up after it. Don't call. Don't come looking. This is your moment to live the life you chose. Eric." I looked around the house once before leaving. We had a life here, a curated one. Clean lines, warm tones, framed vacation photos, throw blankets that matched the couch. But it all felt like a stage set now. Furniture arranged to distract from what wasn't real. Even the photos seemed off, like they captured people who only looked like us. I stared at one on the mantel. Lake Tahoe 3 summers ago. She was laughing, head thrown back, sun in her hair. I remembered taking it. I remembered thinking, this is forever. Now I wasn't even sure who I was looking at. I left it all behind. By 8 a.m., I was gone. I drove north up the winding roads that cut through the canyons. I didn't have a destination in mind at first, just distance. I let the silence of the car wrap around me like armor, letting every mile dull the ache behind my ribs. Eventually, I pulled off into a small town I barely remembered from a camping trip years back. There was a vacancy sign outside a roadside cabin rental. Nothing fancy, but clean, tucked in the trees. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, just what I needed. The woman at the desk didn't ask questions. She handed me a key and told me where to find the firewood. I paid cash. No name, no digital trace. I spent the rest of the day sitting on the porch, wrapped in a borrowed blanket, staring at the slow sway of the pines. The quiet was heavy at first. I kept reaching for my phone, only to remember I'd turned it off and dropped it into the glove box before I left. By nightfall, I didn't miss it. There was something strangely healing about being unreachable. No notifications, no forced conversations, no pretending, just air, and space, and the sound of nothing. I lit a small fire in the old metal stove and watched it crackle. I ate granola out of the bag and drank cold water. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't make a list or scroll through memories or reread the letter I'd left behind. I just sat. And for the first time in months, maybe longer, I felt still. Meanwhile, back in the house we once called ours, Lauren would be coming home. She'd walk through the door with her usual call, "Babe," and hear nothing. No response. No running shower. No keys in the bowl. No jacket on the hook. She'd look around, confused, maybe annoyed, check her phone for a text that wasn't there. Maybe she'd assume I went to the store or to get air or out with friends until she noticed the ring. And the note. I imagine her reading it more than once, trying to decode the tone, looking for a hidden message. hoping for a soft landing. But I didn't leave one. I didn't ask her why. I didn't want to hear her fake tears or her corporate speak apologies. I didn't want her to *p***nice guilt or recycle lines she'd used on someone else. I didn't want the performance. I just wanted out. By the time night fell across the mountains and the cold crept in through the windows, I was under the blankets, the fire dying to embers. I stared up at the wooden ceiling and let the quiet settle in. My chest still hurt. My mind still replayed every second I wished I could forget. But at least now it was mine. My silence. My decision. My escape. No more waiting for her to come home. No more playing the background character in someone else's story. That version of me was gone. I buried him with the ring. I thought leaving would be the hardest part. It wasn't. The hardest part was staying gone while everything started to collapse behind me. I didn't turn my phone back on for 4 days. No messages. No notifications. Just silence. Like the world had paused to let me breathe. The air in the cabin smelled like pine and smoke and cold stone. It wrapped around me like a different kind of life. Simpler. Quieter. When I finally powered my phone back on, the first thing that hit me was the vibration. Non-stop. Calls, texts, voicemails. Dozens of them. All from Lauren. The first few messages were confused. Hey, where are you? You didn't say anything this morning. Is everything okay? Eric, this isn't funny. Then came the panic. Please call me. I'm freaking out. I found your note. What are you talking about? Is this about Thursday night? Please, Eric. We need to talk. Then the guilt trip. You're being unfair. You just left me like that? Without even a conversation. This is cruel. You're having a breakdown. I'm gonna call someone. She called my mom, my brother, even my boss. I know this because when I finally checked my missed calls, I had a voicemail from HR. Hey Eric, just wanted to check in. Lauren reached out, said you might be going through something. No pressure, but we're here if you need anything. She was painting it as a mental health crisis, a manic spiral, disappearing husband, midlife breakdown. That's how she was framing it. And maybe that would have worked if she wasn't about to go through a breakdown of her own. Jay messaged me the same day. You hear about the fallout? I hadn't. I called him. He picked up fast. Well, she's not covering her tracks anymore. Apparently, Lauren's affair didn't just implode our marriage. It detonated her job. That Thursday night hotel stay? She charged it to her corporate card. The romance package. The wine. The room service. The overnight parking. Every dollar of it pinged the company's quarterly expense audit. And they flagged it. An internal audit team started pulling her records. At first, it looked like a one-time mistake. Then they found more. Multiple dinner tabs split between personal and work claims. Uber receipts that didn't match reported meetings. Hotel invoices booked under aliases. Enough to open a formal investigation. Jay said she tried to explain it away. Group outings, client hospitality, shared tabs. But the names she gave couldn't be verified. The locations weren't in any official schedule. And the man, the one from the video, nowhere in the system. Not an employee, not a client, not even a vendor. Just a ghost she kept off the books. I don't know exactly how it unfolded. But Jay said she was placed on administrative leave within a week. Not fired yet, but suspended, under review, with whispers going around the office. I could imagine it. The sidelong glances, the closed-door meetings, HR tiptoeing around legal language while pretending this wasn't personal. But it was. And the weight of it started to show. Friends started reaching out. Not many, just one or two. People who knew us both. Neutral voices. Hey, I heard what happened. You okay? Lauren said you were having a rough time. Just wanted to check in. I don't know the full story, but if you ever want to talk, I'm here. I didn't respond. I wasn't interested in defending myself. And I wasn't going to help her build a softer version of the truth. Meanwhile, she started selling things. I saw the listings when I searched her name out of morbid curiosity. Our furniture listed online. The leather couch we bought after our anniversary. The coffee table her uncle built. Gone. She left the house within 2 weeks. Moved into a cramped studio on the other side of the city. I saw it by accident. She'd tagged the location in a story before realizing it was still connected to our old shared account. It was a single room. Concrete floors. One window. No art. No warmth. Just survival. I should have felt vindicated. But all I felt was empty. There was no joy in watching her fall apart. No satisfaction in seeing her name attached to gossip. No thrill in her being caught. What hurt most was that she had the chance to stop all of this. She could have come clean before it went that far. Could have admitted what she was doing. Could have chosen honesty. Maybe not for my sake, but for her own. But instead, she doubled down. Lied. Piled stories on top of stories. Until it all collapsed under the weight of her own pretending. Even our mutual friends started fading. At first, I think they tried to stay neutral. Invite us to group chats. Keep the peace. But silence is loud. And people can feel when something's been broken. Eventually, they stopped asking questions. Stopped inviting her. Stopped calling me. And that was fine. Some things you just outgrow. One night, a friend of mine, Marcus, texted me a **T. It was a post from Lauren's new burner account. One of those clean, aesthetic Instagram pages. White backgrounds. Moody captions. The kind that screamed curated sadness. Sometimes you lose everything, and only then realize what you never appreciated. #healing, #starting over, #still standing. I didn't reply. I didn't share it. I didn't send it to Jay. I didn't laugh or cry or throw my phone. I just put it down and stared at the wall. Because here's the truth. She didn't lose me. She spent me, like a card she never intended to pay off. And now the balance had come due. Months later, a letter arrived from Lauren. No return address. In it, she confessed the silence left behind was unbearable, that the house had become a tomb after I left. She called me her light, admitted everything. At the same time, the corporate audit confirmed the hotel charges and false expenses. I kept the photos and receipts locked away. I didn't reply. No anger. Just closure. My new life had already begged *N, and I chose to move forward. Alone, but finally free. Years later, at our son Noah's graduation, I sat beside Mia, my new wife, her hand gently resting on mine. As Noah scanned the crowd, Lauren stood alone near the back. Older, distant, the weight of her choices visible in her eyes. She caught my gaze for a brief second. No words, no gestures, just recognition. Then I looked back to the stage, to the life I rebuilt. That moment wasn't sad. It wasn't revenge. It was just quiet clarity. The story ended where my real life began.